Are you ready to feel crystal clear on tuning into your intuition to know exactly what your body needs to heal? This episode will teach you how. You've been told it's incurable, but here at Renegade Remission, we believe in rewriting the story. If you're facing a terminal or chronic illness, you are not alone. I'm Eleni Welch, certified nutritionist, and each week I share healing strategies and remission stories to help you take control of your health, feel better, and rediscover hope. Welcome back to Renegade Remission. By the end of today's episode, we'll learn how to recognize your unique intuitive language, whether it's physical sensations, dreams, or signs in daily life. We'll learn simple daily practices to hone your intuitive skills so that they become clearer over time without overthinking or second-guessing yourself. In the last episode, we explored how intuition can be a powerful ally in healing, how the body often senses imbalance before any test result does. We looked at stories of people like Susan Kohler, who followed her inner voice to remission from stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and studies showing how intuition often detects truth before the rational brain catches up. Today, we're going one step further, because once you understand that intuition is real, the next question becomes, how do you access it, and how do you trust it enough to take action? The first thing that is really important for us to understand is that there is no single right way to access your intuition. For some people, it's a clear inner voice, a deep knowing that speaks in words, like Susan experienced in our last episode. For others, it's a physical feeling. It's a pull or a tightness in the chest, a warning pain in the gut, a sudden wave of peace or relief. Some people experience intuition through dreams, meditation, journaling, or serendipitous coincidences, those perfect timing moments when a friend calls, a sign appears, or a random comment hits exactly what you needed to hear. All of these are valid. The key is to simply listen often enough that you start to recognize your own patterns. The more frequently you tune in, the louder your intuition becomes. Like a muscle, it absolutely strengthens with use. I want to talk for a moment about one of the most profound ways I've learned to access my intuition, which is through my dreams. Now, I know that for some people, this might sound a little out there, but I can tell you from years of personal experience, dreams can be one of the clearest ways intuition speaks to us. I've been keeping a dream journal for over 6 years now, and during that time, I've had dreams that have shown me events, sometimes down to tiny details, long before they actually happened. At the time, many of these dreams have seemed random, strange, or even nonsensical. Dreams don't play out like movies, they're more like parables. They speak in symbols and in metaphors. For example, you might dream about water when you're actually processing emotion. You might dream about a locked door when you're wrestling with something you're afraid to open in real life. But over time, if you write these things down and revisit them, patterns start to emerge. You begin to recognize your own symbolic language, which is the way your subconscious and intuition communicate. Let's share an example. One woman named Wanda Easter Birch, whose story is shared in Kelly Turner's book, Renegade Remission, learned to listen to her dreams in a way that completely changed and saved her life. When Wanda was 42, she began having vivid dreams warning her that she had breast cancer. Her mammogram was clear, her ultrasound was inconclusive, but the dreams were so insistent that she pushed for a needle biopsy. And sure enough, the biopsy confirmed an aggressive form of breast cancer. From that point forward, Wanda leaned even deeper into the language of her dreams. She studied dream interpretation, combined meditation, drawing, and poetry with her conventional treatments, and used her dreams as guides. Her dreams showed her images that became her creative medicine, clues about what to eat, which emotions to release, and even how to approach her treatments. Wanda believed that dream work encouraged dialogue with the inner physician, a constantly streaming two-way message center that knows us best and offers gateways to healing beyond the hospital or doctor's office. That's powerful, and it's true. When we begin to dialogue with our dreams, we're engaging in the part of ourselves that's always been whole and wise, the part that remembers who we are beyond diagnosis or fear. Another woman, Nancy, whose story was also shared in Renegade Remission, also trusted her intuition through dreams. At age 65, Nancy was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her doctor recommended mastectomy, radiation, and hormone therapy. But Nancy's intuition told her to pause, to explore alternative approaches first. So she created her own plan that blended nutrition, herbal medicine, emotional work, energy healing, and spiritual practices. And just 16 months later, she was declared cancer-free. Her intuition often spoke to her through dreams. Like, for example, one where her son-in-law, a talented orthopedic surgeon, was trying to find spray and wash to remove a dark red stain from an old worn tablecloth. After much searching, Nancy found it herself, and she began to spray the stains until they dissolved. Later, Nancy realized the dream's meaning. Her intuition was showing her that she could heal herself without surgery, and that she would find what she needed within her own well-worn body. That's the beauty of intuition. It speaks in symbols that are deeply personal. Dreams are not just random images or stories. They're a form of communication from a deeper part of ourselves, one that perceives truth beyond time. Dream dictionaries can really help, since there are actually universal themes to dream language, but remember, your intuition knows your language best. Don't let any book override what your gut tells you a dream means. If you want to start developing this kind of intuitive awareness through your dreams, start by keeping a journal. Write down anything you remember, even fragments, single images, or emotions. Don't try to make sense of them right away. Over time, go back and read what you've written. You'll start to notice connections, and some things that made no sense at the time might click perfectly later on. Writing things down is how we train our intuitive muscles. It's how we learn to recognize what's truly guidance versus what's just mental noise. And here's the most beautiful part. When you start honoring your intuition in this way, it begins to trust you back. The messages become clearer, the guidance more specific, and your confidence in that inner voice starts to grow. So if dreams are one of the ways your intuition speaks, pay attention, because you might be surprised by how much wisdom is accessible to you today. Another way intuition often shows up is through a series of nudges. When something really matters, the message will find its way to you through multiple avenues. You've probably experienced this. You might have read something online, and then you have a friend bring it up in conversation a few days later, and then out of nowhere, it'll show up again from someone completely unrelated. That's when you start paying attention. A perfect example of that happened years ago when I was dealing with chronic migraines, 3 times a week, sometimes more. I tried everything: chiropractic work, massage, acupuncture, supplements, hormone, toxin testing, food allergy testing, gut microbiome testing, you name it, nothing worked. Eventually, my chiropractor reached out to a colleague who suggested I see a biological dentist to check for something called a cavitation, an infection in the jaw that can happen after a tooth extraction. I looked up for a dentist that could do that particular scan, and it turned out to be a friend and classmate of mine, somebody I'd gone to college with, Dr. Cody Kriegel. But I hesitated. I was exhausted, financially stretched, and afraid of yet another disappointing dead end. But within days, the universe started nudging me. First, a supplement rep visiting the clinic where I worked randomly said, "Are you familiar with a biological dentist named Cody Kriegel? You two would really connect. You should reach out to him." A week later, a friend stopped me when I ran into her in the store, and she said the exact same thing. "I just found a new dentist and you have to meet him. His name is Cody Kriegel and you would love him." At that point, I actually laughed. Okay, universe, I hear you. So I made the appointment. And 2 weeks later, scans showed severe cavitations, bone that had literally been eaten away by infection. I had surgery to clear it, and my migraines disappeared overnight. It's been 5 years now, and aside from an occasional hormonal migraine about once a month, those daily headaches are a distant memory. That experience taught me that being open to intuition means learning to recognize patterns of guidance in our everyday lives. When something is meant for you, life will absolutely find a way to repeat the message until you listen. Remember Jan Shah's story from episode 9, The Hidden Reason Modern Life Keeps You Sick. Jan had developed life-threatening systemic lupus, with her kidneys, brain, and heart affected, and was in end-stage multiple organ failure and sepsis, a life-threatening systemic infection. That is when a friend called her randomly out of the blue, mentioning a healing center in Brazil that she thought could help Jan. At first, Jan brushed it off because it sounded crazy to her, but then 2, 3, and eventually 4 people brought up the same exact healing center to her. So she finally paid attention and went, and it ended up not just saving her life, but completely transforming it. These are just a few examples, but everyone has their own way that intuition speaks, whether it's through dreams or body sensations like tightness in the chest or stomach, flashes of just knowing, feelings of great relief or joy, synchronicities, meaningful coincidences where an external event seems to correspond to an internal thought or feeling without a clear causal link. The more we listen, the clearer that voice becomes. We talked in episode 18 about the gut-brain connection and how a gut feeling is a real thing that can actually signal to you when something in your environment isn't right, and it can detect those dangers or possible advantages well before your brain can. It also knows when something feels right for you. Trust that gut instinct. Just because you cannot logically explain why you feel you must do or not do something doesn't mean it isn't valid. You must absolutely learn to follow your gut. So how do you begin to access your own intuition? Here's the thing. There is no one right way. Intuition speaks to each of us in our own language, and the more you practice tuning in, the clearer the messages become. If you're ready to strengthen your connection, here are 3 powerful ways to start. 1 is to create space for stillness. Intuition cannot be forced. It needs quiet to be heard. Start by creating a few minutes each day for stillness, whether that's meditation, deep breathing, prayer, a quiet walk, or simply sitting with your morning tea without distraction. This stillness trains your nervous system to shift out of constant doing and into listening. Over time, you'll begin to recognize the difference between anxious thoughts and intuitive nudges. Before making a decision, big or small, try this. Pause. Take a few deep breaths and notice what happens in your body. Does it tighten when you think about that decision, or does it relax? Your body is often the first to know the truth. The next thing you can do is to track what you receive. One of the most powerful ways to build intuitive confidence is to record your experiences. Write down your dreams, hunches, coincidences, anything that stands out. Don't judge it, just document it. Later, go back and reflect on what came true or what made sense in hindsight. This is how you train your intuitive muscles, through awareness, observation, and feedback. You'll start to see patterns in how your intuition speaks. The third thing is to follow those threads of synchronicity. Maybe you read about something new, and then a friend mentions it, and then it pops up again somewhere unexpected. That repetition is often your intuition waving a flag. Pay attention here. Start following those threads. Read the book. Make the call, take the class, book the appointment. Even small steps can lead to powerful insights and opportunities. The key is trust. The more you honor these subtle nudges, the more they'll show up for you. Because at the end of the day, intuition isn't mystical, it's not woo-woo, it's natural, it's physiological. It's the quiet intelligence of your body, mind, and spirit working together. And when you learn to listen, whether through stillness, journaling dreams, or synchronicity, you begin to walk through life with a deeper sense of ease, guidance, and connection. Before we wrap up today, I want to share something important with you. Why did I just spend 3 full episodes teaching you about intuition, what it is, how to access it, and why it matters? Because we're about to dive into the nitty-gritty of lifestyle options for helping your body heal from chronic and even terminal illness. And while there are patterns and research and principles that can guide us, there is no single right answer for everyone. Each body is different and each story is unique. Some of you will thrive on a vegan or plant-based diet, and others may feel their best eating more animal-based foods. Some will need intense movement, others will need deep rest. And there is so much noise out there. People claiming they found the right answer because it worked for them. But the truth is, it worked for them. That doesn't mean it's right for you. This is where your intuition becomes not just helpful, but essential. Your intuition is your inner compass. It's the voice that says, this feels right or this doesn't. It's the feeling in your gut when something resonates and the tightness in your chest when something's off. So as we step into these next episodes, I want you to practice tuning into that voice. Let it be your guide. Let it filter the information you hear, including what you hear from me, because the ultimate expert on your healing journey is you. Before we close down, I want to invite you to take a few minutes to tune in, to connect with your own inner wisdom, and to learn how to do it if you've never done it before. So follow along with my guidance. If you're able, close your eyes. If you're walking or driving, just soften your focus and breathe with me. Let's begin with a slow, steady breath in through your nose and a long releasing breath out through your mouth. Again, breathe in. And out. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let the space around your heart feel just a little more open. Now bring your awareness into your body. Notice what's there. Any sensations, warmth, tingling, or emotion. Do you see any parts of your body that are lighting up, that are bright and filled with light, or maybe filled with darkness? You don't have to change anything, just observe. Gently place one hand over your heart and one over your belly. This is your intuitive center. This is the place where your body and spirit meet. As you breathe, imagine this area glowing softly, a quiet light of knowing, a deep innate wisdom. It doesn't necessarily speak in words. It might speak in feelings, images, or subtle pulls. Ask it silently, what do I need to know right now? And now listen. You may not hear an answer immediately, and that's okay. Intuition often whispers before it speaks. Just notice the first thing that arises. A word, a color, a memory, a physical sensation. That's your intuition, and it's beginning to speak its own unique language. Now take another slow breath in and out. Know that this guidance is always available to you in your stillness, your dreams, your body, and in everyday coincidences that leave through your life. You've already connected. You've always been connected. All you have to do is listen. If you'd like, you can spend more time in this meditation now, repeating it for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever feels right to you. I'll sign off and let you continue in this space. Until next time, trust the voice within and go be renegades.